Okay, so in this video, I want to show you two videos from two US citizens that get it. They understand that the United States is not the best country in the world, and they also understand the propaganda that they've been spoon-fed. Now, I'm not going to discredit the US viewers that subscribe to my channel. You guys get it too. So full credit to you guys for seeing the reality of your country. But the message from these two US citizens is pretty powerful in my opinion. But I just wish that more of their fellow US citizens would listen to this. Like this guy right here, Hoekstra, who was in my home province of British Columbia. If you follow my channel, you know I despise this guy. I was actually hoping to hear some Cobra chickens attacked him or something like that. But he is one guy that is probably never going to get it. But I have a video I'm going to show at the end later, and it shows that some US citizens might be turning around and, the light bulb might be going on in their head. So we'll get into all of this in today's video. But first, let's get to the first guy I want to show. It's a guy who will never understand what the chaos is that him and the administration is causing.
Still smiling, and so, yeah. And I think he is too, so it's great.
The U.S. ambassador to Canada, Pete Hoekstra, emerged from a 45-minute-long meeting with BC Premier David Eby, discussing what he called a whole range of issues.
Both smiling, and it was a good meeting.
It comes amidst an ongoing trade war, and the same day the U.S. consulate in Toronto was shot at.
I just want to condemn in every possible way the idea that shooting at a U.S. consulate building is a way to deliver a message. It is not.
Now, I know this happened in Toronto, and I haven't really mentioned it on my channel very much, actually at all. But I do not agree that we should be using violence when it comes to the United States. Because gun violence isn't a regular occurrence in Canada. I mean, it's a regular Tuesday for the United States. But I don't want that reputation that we're going to be shooting up things.
Hoekstra has previously generated controversy with comments not always seen as diplomatic, labeling Canada as mean and nasty to deal with, citing the boycotts of American goods and travel. Today, he was more conciliatory.
Yes. This business of Canada being mean and nasty to deal with, have your thoughts on that shifted, or is that still your view?
My view is I probably shouldn't talk about it.
Tuesday's summit was requested by Hoekstra, who is expected to canvass the BC government's ongoing boycott of U.S. booze on government liquor store shelves and Eby's exhortations to British Columbians to avoid vacation travel to the States.
These are, in my opinion, reasonable reactions to how we've been treated by the Americans. And my sincere hope is that the Prime Minister, together with the President, are able to stabilize our trade relationships.
On a trade and partnership level, I do hope that two countries, Canada and US, can stabilize when it comes to cross-border trade. For me, it is a selfish reason, mainly because I want to see Canada's economy continue to grow, and I don't want to see jobs lost across the country. But on a citizen level, like you and I, and everybody listening to this video right now, I'm going to be showing no mercy when it comes to the boycott. And I don't need the government of Canada to tell me to do this. I'm doing it on my own.
Ahead of the meeting, Eby said he planned to focus on the need for a stable trade relationship with the U.S., improving the softwood lumber duties imposed by the states, and convincing Hoekstra to get President Trump on board with permanent daylight saving time.
To deliver a message to the President and to Congress about the need to get rid of changing the clocks down the West Coast, that would be beneficial for us all to be on the same time zone moving forward.
Hoekstra didn't specifically confirm that softwood lumber and alcohol bans came up, but implied they did, and he did pour cold water on the daylight saving time idea.
I don't know how we can get, all of the states and the provinces and, all on one page.
Now, I'm not sure how it works in the United States, but wouldn't it be easier just to ask the individual state, or does it have to go through the president? I'm just thinking out loud here, but if anybody knows the answer to that, let me know in the comments.
Ambassador deferred any news on thawing trade tensions to Carney and Trump.
The President and the Prime Minister talked on Sunday. They may talk again this week. I think any update should come from the Prime Minister and the President.
But after nearly a year of combative rhetoric, Tuesday's meeting seemingly produced a more diplomatic and friendly tone.
Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria. And Rob, have we heard from Premier Eby about how the meeting went?
Well, that's a good question, Mi Jung. The Premier issued a release just a few minutes ago describing the meeting as productive and acknowledging that a range of issues were canvassed, including daylight saving time, transnational crime. So various issues that were brought up, including the ban on U.S. booze and the travel boycott as well. He said that both parties did not agree on everything, but they also both expressed hope that there could be negotiations that led to better trade negotiations and agreements. In a later note today, I asked the ambassador his thoughts on the U.S. Olympic hockey team, and he was very quick to respond that at the final whistle, there was 4 members on the ice for the Olympic team who are from Michigan. He himself is from Michigan, so it would seem there are some points of commonality between both countries. Mijung.
All right, thank you, Rob.
Now, just because Pete Hoekstra was relatively normal during this meeting doesn't change a single thing on how I feel about him. I mean, the guy's a snake, and when he bites you the first time, you're never going to forget it. So my best suggestion, don't let your guard down with this guy. I'm definitely not. Now, I want to get into the videos of the US citizens that do get it, and they can see through the propaganda that they've been fed by their US government and media. But before I do that, I want to thank Ginny for posting the backdrop for today's video on the Hey Cafe website. And the photo was taken at Bruce Peninsula National Park in Ontario. And Ginny was able to post quite a few photos on the Hey Cafe website, specifically under the Guard the Leave page. It was actually pretty tough to pick one because they were all great. But if you want to see them, I would suggest to check out the Hey Cafe website. The link to join will be in the description below. Thank you, Ginny, for posting these in the Guard the Leave page. Okay, now getting back to the video clips, I want to show you a US citizen who understands what's going on in their own country. Let's take a look.
When I was growing up, we were led to believe that the United States were the good guys, the heroes, that we had God on our side. Now, as I sit here at 65 years of age and watch what's going on, I can categorically say we are not the good guys. We're, in fact, the bad guys. We're not heroes. We're the villains. Fact of the matter is, there could be an argument made for us being fucking terrorists. Now, some of you might say, well, that's pretty strong, Mike. That's unpatriotic. Well, it would be unpatriotic if it weren't true. And let me explain to you what I mean. We're bombing boats, killing innocent people in the ocean. We're going into Venezuela, kidnapping the president of that country. Then we start a war unprovoked, bombing the piss out of it, sending missiles into elementary schools where hundreds of children are killed.
Now, what he's describing right now, it sounds like a lot of stuff. But we have to remember, everything that he's describing right now has been done within the last 3 months. But this has been going on for decades, maybe even generations. But I'm just happy that some US citizens are starting to see that, hey, yeah, we are the bad guys.
Throwing their country, Iran, and every other country around it into turmoil, fucking up the economy, fucking up the global oil market, and it's costing everybody money. Who is gaining from this? The only person who thinks he's gaining from it is Donald Trump. He thinks he looks tough. He thinks he's doing something. He thinks he's distracting from the Epstein files. This is not the behavior of the good guys. This is not the behavior of a hero. These are, for all intents and purposes, terroristic attacks. And unfortunately, that's who we are currently. The United States of America, an adversarial country to fucking everybody. We have no allies. This is very frustrating. It's frustrating because there's still people out there that support this dipshit. People in Congress, people on the streets. They still support what he's doing, even though they can see that it's fucking wrong, that we are the bad guys. Apparently, they're content with us being the bad guys. Well, I'm sorry, I can't accept that. And most of us can't. So we got to keep pushing. We got to keep fighting till we get through this motherfucking mess. And there's going to be a hell of a mess to clean up after the fact.
Now, I admire this person for calling out his own country, because it is pretty tough for some people to do. But when it comes to cleaning up this mess, I'm not sure if it's cleanable, because it's not just the government that they need to clean up. Unfortunately, it's also the citizens as well. I don't mean clean up the citizens, but I'm talking about the attitude, the exceptionalism, and the arrogance that goes on in the United States. Because unfortunately, just like what I said in my previous video, the one about the MAGA supporter going to Ireland and already having a rough time. Unfortunately, this is going to be happening for a lot of US citizens. Doesn't matter which side you're on. I mean, most of your conversations are going to have to open with, sorry, I didn't vote for the guy. But even after the orange guy is gone, it's not going to change overnight. A lot of people are going to be looking at the US citizens, traveling abroad. And they'll be thinking, did this person vote for the orange guy or not? So I think it's a lot more difficult than just cleaning up this mess. So let me know what you think. Do you think the United States is capable of cleaning up this mess? Let us know in the comments below. Okay, I want to move on to the next US citizen who quickly learned after he moved out of the United States how brainwashed he actually was. Let's take a look.
So I moved out of America for the first time in my life 7 months ago, and all my friends from home now would say I've gotten really liberal since moving to Europe. But the truth is, I've just left America for the first time in my life and started seeing fucking reality. And the truth is, we're being lied to our entire life. Amsterdam is where I live now. Everyone thinks it's like the drug capital of the world. There are no crackheads in Amsterdam. 0 crackheads. You got some alcoholics, but no crackheads. You know why? There's no crack. Other thing, prices in the supermarket are like less than half of what I was used to in New York. Now, I don't mean to sound so like negative and like fuck America. I'm very proud to have been born and raised in New York. But my message today is the propaganda machine you were fed is so much louder than you realize, and the world is so much bigger than your hometown and what the media fucking tells you.
You know, sometimes it does take moving away from home to understand how big the world is. I can attest to this because before I moved away the first time, I would always complain about Vancouver. Vancouver's so boring. Vancouver sucks. The rain sucks. The bike lanes suck. But after I moved away, I realized that all the stuff I used to be complaining about really doesn't matter because there are places around the world that are way worse off than Vancouver. I guess you could say I had an epiphany. But for this guy here, he had an epiphany of his own. And being away made him realize that he grew up on propaganda. Moving away from home is usually a surefire way to broaden your experience, but also the way you think. But not everybody is capable of moving away. And some people have to learn this while they're still in their own state and county. And some won't learn until it personally affects them. Now, this next video I'm going to show you is a guy that actually learned the hard way. And he quickly learned that his vote actually has some consequences. Let's take a look.
Do you regret your vote right now?
Well, between him and her, I thought he was the better choice, but honestly, I miss my Uncle Joe. I was a nobody, and I was balling then. Now, I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't even show you $5 in my pocket.
We spoke to Trump voters here in Florida who are ticked off about the fact that the gas prices in the state have gone up by an average of about 60 cents within just a week.
I would just wish he'd keep up on his campaign promise and say he was going to put it under $3. He'd end that war so fast. But here it is, 5 years later, helping his buddy out get his more money.
Now, I'm having a hard time having sympathy for this guy. But at the same time as well, I have to give him credit for actually understanding and knowing, hey, I voted for a liar. But unfortunately, you can't change the past. And guys like him, he's going to have to live through the consequences of what he actually voted for.
And then never mind charging us Americans all sorts of money for fuel that you just stole from Venezuela.
And those gas prices are getting higher because of volatile oil prices due to the war in Iran, a war that these Trump voters tell us they hope wraps up quickly.
If I could, speak to the president, I'd just encourage him to finish up this war and get us back to a safe world.
He's saying about for our safety, leave somebody alone, they won't bother you. Hopefully this conflict over there will end, it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. Unfortunately, you voted for this guy. Unfortunately, this guy's in office. And unfortunately, he's attacking another country. And unfortunately, your gas prices have gone up. But the problem I have here is that you're not the only one affected. Because the rest of the world is affected because of your stupid decision.
The overall vibe here at the gas pump amongst these Trump voters is they feel like the economy is not going well right now.
At the moment, I'm really out of work.
My hope is that it's temporary and it doesn't last for too long and oil prices come back down. That's my hope.
Well, unfortunately, hope is not going to fix anything. And it sounds like you're waiting for somebody else to fix a problem that you caused. The only person I have a little bit of sympathy for is the first guy, who understands that his vote was wrong. But the other two guys, I have zero sympathy for them. I found this meme online, and it kind of relates to what I'm talking about. It's a good visual representation of how MAGA and the people who voted for the orange guy are not taking responsibility for their own problems. So do I think the United States is going to clean up this mess? Probably not. Because the problem that I see is that half the US population doesn't see that there is a problem right now. So while their house is burning down, I think the rest of us on this side of the fence, we're just going to do our own thing now, without the United States. Okay, that's all I got for this video. If you found any value or agree with anything I said, or you want to hear more from a Canadian and international perspective without the US media bias, and if you want to hear my cat as well, make sure you hit the like and subscribe button, so that way you're notified of my future videos. Thanks everyone, and I'll catch you in the next one. I'm going to go play with my cat now.